Hello everybody, welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube and Twitch channels, and we are here today to have a Wacky Wednesday stream. We've got a whole bunch to go over. I was listening with Pincalo to a bunch of stuff. Diddy's got stuff to do with minors coming out now. There are civil suits from 120 people. I was listening to a press conference from a lawyer in Texas who is a part of a big legal team litigating these civil lawsuits and putting these people in contact with the FBI, and it's big. Like, this is like I keep saying, this is Jeffrey Epstein big. This is going to be huge for the music industry. I know that Abba from Abba and Preach has said, Diddy's not really going to say anything and this isn't really going to go anywhere, but I don't know. I think this is going to go a lot further than people think that this is going to go. And I think it's a good thing, because I think that just because you are famous and just because you have power does not mean that you should be able to get away with abuse and assault and alleged abuse and assault and mistreatment of adults and minors alike in horrific manner, by the way. Like, there are so many things coming out in that are painting just a monstrous picture of Diddy, and I kind of feel for the people who were his fans, because it's always hard to learn something like this about a person that you like, because being a fan of somebody is an inherently parasocial relationship. It's not quite the same as it would be for like a social media parasocial thing, but I think that there's always been a sort of parasocial situation between celebrities and their fans, especially the ones that get like to groupie status. And I do feel bad for those people, because they probably were taken in by him as well. And it's just a giant, enormous shit show of dynamic and humongous proportions, and it's crazy to me just to watch this as an outsider looking in at the entertainment industry imploding at well, because first it was Harvey Weinstein, and then it was Jeffrey Epstein, and now it's Diddy. And is the entertainment industry going to survive? Like is this going to be the third thing that makes it the charm, right? Because that's the phrase, three's a charm, or three times the charm, right? And it's this is like they can't just keep getting away with this. They can't just keep getting away with treating people like this just because they have fame and power. Michael, hello, welcome. And switching gears a little bit, I got a very weird Instagram comment today. Apparently, I say that I'm blind, but I'm leading everybody with eyes to hell. Or I'm tempting everybody that has eyes to hell, and I should repent and accept Jesus into my heart. And I'm just like, what the fuck? So I, of course, do a Safe for Work Ass Wednesday post to Instagram in response. Because what kind of stupidity is that? You say you're blind, but you are tempting those with eyes to hell. That is so weird. That is so weird. I just, like, that comment just made me laugh so hard. Jay-Z has gone into hiding. He will be the next person the police will want to talk to. Hey, Cannibalistic Wizard, what's up? Apparently I'm tempting everybody to hell. I'm tempting everybody with sight to hell. So, who wants to join me? Anybody feel like joining me on the ride to hell?
Oh, man, that hurt.
I just...
I dropped the board on my toe.
Oh, no. I hear Pincolo saying he hurt himself. That's no good.
I have dropped steel on my foot and never been this much. Oh my god!
Just a whack job. Very much a whack job. It was very much, and the weird thing is that person is still liking my shit. It's like, what is the matter with you? Are you, like, guiltily liking my stuff? I don't understand the whole, the point behind that. I really don't. So, we've got a few videos regarding internet silliness, and of course, then we have QP. And today's QP is gonna get spicy. Trudeau and Polyev are sparring again because Trudeau actually managed to show up in the House of Commons today. Holy crap. See you in hell. I will have more friends there anyway, right? No, the old man dropped a piece of wood on his foot, apparently. Is what I can hear from behind the door. He was just down in the workshop and apparently has managed to And why is it always things that are light like wood that when you drop them on your feet it hurts? And then you drop steel on your feet, like he just said, I've dropped steel on my foot and it hurt less than this. The next thing is praying for me. Oh, Michael, don't worry. I get people who want to pray for me all the time just because I'm blind. They're like, oh, you poor thing. You poor thing. May I pray for your healing? And I'm like, sure, whatever knocks you out. Whatever floats your boat, dude. If you feel like you need to pray for me, you go right ahead. It's not going to do anything, but you go right ahead. And they're like, well, with that attitude, it won't. And I'm like, no. It just won't. That's just it just won't do anything. Like my eyes are not real. They just won't happen.
Why are you holding your head? I'm not. There's two of these, are there? Whatever one's in there, get me something quick.
Sorry, I'm just putting my hair back so it's out of my ears, out of my earbuds, because it keeps getting stuck in the tips of the earbuds. There we go. Let's see. Wood likes to hit your foot with the edge. Yeah, that's probably what happened. That's probably what happened. Oh, poor Pinkalo.
Go tell your mother I'm okay. I just dropped the board on my foot. On my big toe.
Yes.
Slam, I support of you.
Yes.
Dad just dropped the board on his toe.
Oh.
And you, by the way,
Yeah.
can I mention?
He says he's sorry for screaming.
Well, that's fine, but
No, you have no idea. I think I broke my toe.
oh shit.
And I landed on, well, not broke, it landed on my big toe, right on the toenail.
Oh no.
With the full torque of a drill.
Oh god.
Dad, Mom,
What?
where's my treat?
Did you finish your supper?
But I can move it.
That's good.
It just hurts like a bitch. Like, you ever laugh so hard but you want to throw up while you're laughing because it hurts so much?
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing.
The door is a little broken.
That's okay. Close it and don't hang on it.
Well,
Where's my treat?
I will.
Your mother's doing a show. Close the door. Leave her alone.
I need somebody to make sure my screen is working.
So go get your treat. We'll find it.
Okay. I have the video pulled up, so let's switch screens and see if it works. It's one thing. It makes them have a sense of purpose. It's a good thing to make their day. Yep. Maybe he should be wearing proper footwear.
You ever have a friend step on your toe?
That's funny. See, that's funny cannibalistic. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna keep this on solo cam for now because I don't think we need to see what's going on. Okay. Alright. Here we go. This is our first video about KSI.
Talia, can you go to break screen for a half second, please, dear?
Yes, I can. I'll be right back, you guys. I'll be right back, you guys. Hold on.
Unmuted now,
All
so
right.
you can talk.
So we're back. We're back. I was helping out.
I dropped a big fuck off board on my big toe. It hurts. See, look, it's purple.
Oh god.
Oh, look, it's purple. Oh, it's purple. Oh, it hurts.
It's purple
Oh,
already.
It's purple. Oh, the purple's gone down a little bit. It was really purple before I got the ice on it. Oh my god, it hurts.
Here you go.
Oh.
Well,
Hold on a second.
you'll
buddy.
be sleepy in a sec.
Oh,
in a
sleep.
few
Yeah,
minutes.
do I ever pass out from pills?
You might pass out from this, from the combination.
I doubt it. Because I'm going to add to the combination as well.
Mm.
Alright, you're live on screen. And adjusted.
Okay.
Thank you, buddy. Now close the door behind me, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, KSI is being a retard. We're gonna start with that. KSI is embarrassing himself, which, you know, isn't he always? Clipped for foot finder. Wear shoes next time, old man. That's funny. Alright. KSI is being stupid again. Let's take a look at this.
What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. Do better. Do better.
Well guys,
What
we're
the
diving back
fuck?
into it. I wasn't really expecting to be talking about this Lunchly drama again so soon. I honestly expected my next video involving the Lunchly to be me eating them, but I'm actually kind of running into some roadblocks there. We'll talk about that later. What we're talking about today is the member of the Lunchly trio that I did...
KSI Atard, say it isn't so. Right?
didn't really touch on at all in my original video talking about this whole Lunchly debacle, KSI. Now, if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, 2 weeks ago, Mr. Beast, Logan Paul, and KSI announced their new joint venture, The Lunchly, which serves as what they claim to be a healthier competitor for the Lunchable. And the announcement, the whole introduction of the product, was not received super duper well. Now,
No, it was not. And there were a few people who tried the Lunchly and they were like, this is really gross and unappetizing and no better than a Lunchable.
let's be real, this is obviously due in part to the 3 people who were involved in making this product.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast is one of the most polarizing content creators on the website right now. Logan Paul is Logan Paul. And KSI has his own shit going on, and it's shit that's only getting worse, which is what we're here to talk about today. Now, if you've been active on Twitter or YouTube, even over the last week or so, I'd say, you've probably seen all the drama surrounding KSI and his response to Dan TD.
Crocs, gross, I wear slides like a proper Portuguese. That's funny.
If you haven't, after the Lunchlys were announced, Dan TDM made a tweet expressing his disapproval of the product, and that tweet went pretty viral. And ever since, in response to that tweet, KSI has been having a little bit of a meltdown on Twitter. And honestly, I don't really think that I'm using that word meltdown too loosely here.
Well, KSI has meltdowns about everything. Like, seriously, he has a meltdown every month, it feels like.
Response to one single tweet that was made over 2 weeks ago at this point, KSI has sent out probably a dozen tweets in response. He's made fake apology videos, dug back years into Dan TDM's history to try and find things to discredit him. It's kind of sad to watch, which is why that's exactly what we're going to be doing today.
Oh, please, August. Please, no. Don't make us watch this.
Starting from the beginning, we're going to be going through the timeline here, which, I mean, is not really a long one, but it is an entertaining one. So let's not waste any more time. Let's begin. Please subscribe. Now, like I said earlier, this all started when Dan TDM made a tweet that was not in approval of the Lunchlys. After they were announced in response to the product, he tweeted out, "What happened to YouTubers, man? I can't not say anything anymore. This is selling stuff for the sake of making money. Simple. How does this benefit their fans? This is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them do better." Okay.
It is. It's true. It's very true. Like, this is literally just, I want to make a Lunchable because kids will want to, they'll want to buy it. He has meltdowns like they're a period. He does. He does have meltdowns like it's a period. You're right. But, like, it's clear that they're just making this product so that kids will beg their parents, please buy me a Lunchly because Mr. Beast and Logan Paul and KSI made it.
Okay, so real quick, this is not going to be a video about this tweet because I'm sure most people have seen it at this point. But before I start talking about the good, I do want to just say one little thing, and please don't kill me over this. I've seen the treatment people have gotten when they go against Mr. TDM, but I do just want to say one thing because I can't keep my mouth shut. I really kind of have an issue with this whole "this is selling stuff for the sake of making money" statements. I mean, that's just what a business is. Yeah. That's a little preachy, in my opinion. And I understand why he's saying it in this context. And I feel like if it was just a little bit more specific, it'd be completely fine because I said something similar to this in my video about the Lunchlys.
You know what? That's a fair point. Of course, people are going to sell things just to make money. That's what a business does. That's what capitalism is about. But selling it to kids just because you know they'll buy it is a different thing.
Could be completely fine because I said something similar to this in my video about the Lunchlys. My sort of stance was they don't actually care about making kids healthier or making a healthier alternative. They just want to make money. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to make money, but there is something wrong with your goal being to make money while portraying your goal as making children healthier.
Yes, there absolutely is something wrong with that. You cannot pretend to want to be a healthy product for kids and want to like rake in the dough at the same time.
That is an issue. Wanting to make money, though, is not. So I understand the sentiment, but this idea that selling stuff for the sake of making money is bad, that's crazy. That is literally the reason anybody on the planet sells anything, and if you don't believe that, well, then I've got a bridge to sell you. But other than that, I think it brings up a lot of good points, a lot of things I agree with, especially the idea that this is selling crap to kids who don't know better than to trust the people who are selling it to them. I brought up something very similar to this in my video about the Lunchleys, especially with how they're marketing the Lunchly versus Lunchable thing. How they would take a bite of the Lunchable and spit it out and say this is disgusting, take the Crunch Bar out of the Lunchable and say boo, this sucks, stuff like that. Because kids really don't know any better. They will see three famous guys who they look up to saying things like this with such conviction, and they will just automatically believe it's true. And this
and they'll be like, Mom, Dad, I really want the Lunchly. Blake and Paul and them all say that it's a lot better than the Lunchable. I really want this Lunchly.
Kind of harkens back to the whole point about them not really caring whether or not they're making kids healthier. They're just using their influence over children to sell a product that is well established as popular with children. Now, this is where the fun begins. KSI's first response to this tweet was just him saying, looks like crap to me, referencing a few collectibles that Dan TDM had made in collaboration with a few different companies. Now, a word of wisdom, if you ever call somebody out for something or criticize them over anything, and their first instinct, instead of addressing anything you actually said, is to just insult you or something involving you, you've
won.
Already won. Dan TDM made a fair assessment of the situation, said he doesn't approve, and explained why in very clear and understandable terms.
And, like, he wasn't rude or insulting, right? He had a point to make, he made his point, and he backed it up, and he hit post. KSI is losing his shit because, God forbid, you, I don't know, don't like the products he sells.
And instead of addressing any of the valid criticism that Dan TDM laid out for him, KSI just started insulting him. What makes it even worse is that this insult doesn't even really make sense. First of all, Dan's entire stance seems to be that if you're just selling something to make money as a YouTuber, instead of selling things to benefit or interact with your fans, that's a negative. Selling collectibles that his fans obviously enjoyed quite a bit, considering that there were multiple of them made, doesn't go outside of his ideology. Also, KSI has worked with both of these companies that he's referencing in the past.
That's funnier. That's even funnier. To shit on somebody for for doing something that is beneficial to the audience, which is what he says should be a reason to sell. Then he's like, and then he shits on him for using the same companies that he's collaborated with in the past. That's insane.
Makes no sense. Now, obviously, a lot of people called him out for this, pointing out how stupid this tweet really is, so KSI had to find something else. His next tweet was calling out Dan TDM for a sponsorship that he took nearly a decade ago. But he was talking about food, JJ. He was sponsored, then promoted, and made a whole video on Munchpack, a monthly sub-box full of food and candy to his Minecraft audience full of kids. Now what? Now, this tweet was a bit more polarizing. Some people were agreeing with KSI, but honestly, I don't see how. Making a video where you try a bunch of different food from around the world in collaboration with a company, with some of that food being candy, which is what Dan TDM's video was, is not the same as creating an entire company that has this facade of being healthy that was created to compete with one of the most popular children's foods in this country.
Yeah, that's completely different. And also, Munchpack offered an opportunity, like August just said, to try different foods from around the world. And that may include candy, but that doesn't mean that it's exclusively unhealthy food full of sugar, right? This is clearly a preservative heavy food that is no better than the Lunchable, and it's marketed to be better than the Lunchable.
There's a pretty stark difference between making a video where you partner with a food company and you try a bunch of different stuff and creating a product that you advertise as healthy when it's basically just as bad as your competitor. Saying something that's full of sodium and preservatives is somehow so much better for you than a Lunchable is misleading. Nobody thinks that candy and chocolate is healthy. In Dan TDM's video, he never says anything like, if you buy this subscription, you're you're gonna be so much healthier. This is
Yeah, no, he's not marketing that Munch Pack subscription as an alternative, healthy substitute. He's like, hey, this is a really cool subscription box where you can try different food, including candy. There are two very different things here.
This is so much better for you than normal chocolate. Everybody knows that candy's bad for you. It's not morally wrong to try and sell a chocolate bar, but it is morally wrong to try and trick your audience full of children into thinking that your product is a true healthy alternative. Now,
could you imagine if Mr. Beast was like, you should buy my Feastables chocolate bar because it's healthier than Cadbury? Like, what?
now, after this is when it starts to get even sadder. I guess KSI saw all this controversy as an opportunity to advertise his music, because his next tweet was, this whole Dan TDM and Lunchley beef really shows that I'm in the thick of it. Out October 4th. Free save link down below. Really, really seamless there, KSI. It almost doesn't even feel like an advertisement. Now, before he goes fully into the song advertising stuff, he makes one more serious tweet, if you can even call it that. He quotes what Dan TDM said about him, and sort of applies it to the whole Marquise Brownlee wallpaper thing, and he says, some dumbass YouTuber said this exact same thing to me the other day. Rather than complaining, crying, and trying to cancel a YouTuber for creating a product, here's an idea. If you don't want/like a product, just don't buy it. Simple. It's always very interesting to me when people take stances like this, because they're just announcing to the entire planet that they are incapable of taking criticism. And it
Yeah. Like, there are, like, if enough people come to you and say, hey, this product is not what you're saying it is, maybe you should stop and be like, okay, what is going on here? It's the same with that Chef Pie or Chef P or however the fuck you pronounce her name. Like, there were so many people going, that this sauce is horrible and it's making us sick, and it's not, like, it's, and she was just like, no, it's perfect. You have to like it.
It honestly really starts to make a lot of sense on why guys like KSI, Logan Paul, and Mr. Beast surround themselves with yes men, because they can't take criticism. They want a world where nobody ever calls them out for anything. They want to be able to do whatever they want and never get shit for it. It's the mindset of a child. And I mean, we can really see that in full display with what he does next. He starts to do this weird like mini campaign where he's acting like he's going to upload an apology video, but he's really just sending people to a song. He made this tweet saying a lot has happened these past few days online, so here I am addressing everything below, and it's this link to what's apparently his apology, but it's really just to promote his new single. He then replies to his own tweet saying the community note is a straight up lie, the apology is there, you just have to click the page a few times to get to it. Once again,
you just have to click the page a few times to get to it. Why? So your view counter can count how many times people have clicked refresh on the page? Wow. Pink sauce, all I need is either ranch, barbecue, or nacho cheese. Any other sauce is not needed.
again, people abusing community notes. Like, I don't really know what the end goal of this is. It seems kind of silly. And then finally, he tweeted, the countdown is up. The apology video is now live and ready for you to view. Which, unfortunately, I feel like we should probably do, right?
Hey, guys.
Please, no.
A lot's happened these past few days. And I've had a lot of time to reflect and really understand everything that's happened and all of my actions. And, you know, first of all, I want to, sorry.
Oh, please. He's fake crying. He's fake crying. Oh my God.
I want to apologize.
Now he's laughing like a fucking idiot.
I want to say sorry. I can't do it. Hey yo, drink Prime and eat Lunchley, motherfucker. Stay mad, Dan TDM fans. Womp womp.
Okay, so I think it's an important time.
Wow, how old is this guy? How old is KSI again? Like, that cannot be an actually grown man acting that way. It can't.
Time to note that this is a 31-year-old man who
Okay, 31.
made
Holy
a fake
fuck.
apology video, unprompted. Nobody was asking for an apology here. I don't think anybody upset about this whole situation really cares what KSI has to say.
No.
This is just kinda sad. Nobody thought you were actually making an apology video. Everybody knew you were messing around. To think that anybody watched this thinking it was gonna be a genuine apology and you tricked them and that's so funny to you, that's kinda weird, man. You're a grown adult. And
Yeah, that is some, like, weird Gen Z fucking behavior there. I don't understand that point. Like, that whole, I'm gonna pretend to be sorry. Nobody's gonna believe it, but I'm gonna think they're believing it, and then I'm gonna, like, I got you, haha.
And unfortunately, it still did not stop here. He made a tweet saying, "Thanks for the free promo, pussy," at DanTDM. "DM me your bank details for the payments." At this point, he's responding to a tweet that's 2 weeks old that was originally not even intended for just him. And not only is he still hung up on it, he's acting like he's winning here. DanTDM has built a house in this man's mind.
Yeah, Dan is not responding or anything like that. He put out his one tweet from like 2 weeks ago, like August just said, and KSI is just tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and videoing and tweeting and videoing.
This is not even rent-free anymore. The man has a paid-off mortgage. KSI is so obviously bothered by this, while DanTDM has said nothing since. But KSI is still trying to paint this narrative that he's in the lead here. Now, for the most part, that's really it involving DanTDM in that aspect of this situation. But that doesn't mean KSI has stopped embarrassing himself. He released a snippet of the song, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it or not. If I can, I'll do it now. If you just heard it, I'm sure you'll agree, but if you didn't, I need you to trust me on this. It's not exactly good.
All I heard was a fart noise, and I'm just going to assume that that's better than what the song is. I'm just gonna go out on a limb.
Honestly sounds like a commissioned song for like a FIFA title screen. It does not sound like a real song anybody would sit down and listen to. And then, on top of making an EA game soundtrack song, he said this in a podcast recently.
I don't like showering. It's just boring. Also, I just feel like surely once a week is more than enough.
I don't like showering. It's boring, and I feel like once a week is more than enough. What the fuck? Is that just a troll thing to say, or?
No. All you need to do, deodorant to cover the smell or aftershave. No, honestly, I bet you I don't need to shower for 1 week and you won't even be able to tell.
I mean, do I really need to even say anything? Just cover yourself in aftershave and deodorant and it won't matter if your ass smells like shit? 31 years old. Grown man saying this stuff. Bad.
That's insane. 31 years old and thinks showering is boring. Boring, huh?
Look does not even begin to describe it. Well, guys, what do you think? Has all of this affected KSI's public image? If you say no, good luck in the 6th grade next year. I cannot imagine being 31 years old and saying any of this shit. No. I mean, I know these guys have enough money for PR teams. I don't know why they don't utilize them. Making this big a deal out of another man's opinion, acting like a child when it comes to making an apology or accepting criticism, saying you don't need to shower but once a week, just cover yourself in Axe.
I knew people that covered themselves in Axe and showered but once a week. And they smelled horrifying. In fact, there was this one night when they thought it would be fun to like wander around the apartment and try to hide from me. And because A, they never took showers, and B, wore fucking chains all over their clothes because they thought they were like these super dark goth people. I was constantly finding them, and they're like, "How are you doing that?" And I'm like, "Well, A, you're making noise, and B, you fucking stink." So, yeah. That's... What did I do here? There we go. So that's like, I can't believe KSI admitted to being that gross on a podcast. That's insane to me. Alright, let's take a look at Bering's video, because Clementine Ford is back. I'm sure we all remember Clementine Ford from the good old days. Apparently it's 2015 again, and we are just recycling everything. Because, yeah, Clementine Ford is back, so let's take a listen.
Who remembers Clementine Ford? She's an Australian radical feminist and one of those sort of 2010s hashtag kill all men feminists, and she's just horrible. Here's a refresher reel.
My name's Clementine Ford. I'm an angry feminist and notorious boner killer who fights for women's rights. My vagina...
A notorious boner killer. That's something I forgot about.
I'm an angry feminist and notorious boner killer who fights for women's rights. My vagina isn't a car. And if it was, I would have saved a lot more money in taxis over the years, and then I'd be able to fix its brake pads.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
So sick of talking about men. I have a male baby, and it's just all the time, it's feed me, pay me attention to me, engage me. So boring.
Ew. There are so many things that I forgot that she said. I have a male baby, and it's always feed me, pay attention to me, and engage me. Yeah, 'cause it's a baby, you asshole.
Actually not advantageous at all for women to choose to live with men in romantic partnerships. I have a boyfriend, which I know is kind of crazy, and he often says to me, can we just make it through one dinner where you don't talk about rape? You are the most annoying feminist to have ever walked the earth. You'd think someone that fat would have decent tits. It's really a shame that a man wasted sperm on a low-life like you. Please sit on a
She's the first woman I have seen with a smile and a frown at the same time. That's funny.
So that you may never be able to reproduce. Off and die.
Whoa, I disavow that last one. That's pretty harsh. Anyway, overnight I got a tweet on x.com. It's from this fellow John Seed. He says, Bering, you and Tits need to read and react to this. And if you can, somehow magically find footage of the event. Chef's kiss. And so that sparked my interest. Now what he's referring to is a concert. A concert recently organised by Clementine Ford herself.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, please tell me she is not performing in this thing.
It was a Taylor Swift tribute show, and it did not go well. So we're going to read about it. I'll go get tits. So this guy tweeted me overnight. He says, Bering, you and Tits need to read and react to this. And if you can, somehow magically find footage of the event. Chef's kiss. Mwah. So what he's referring to is this article. Our Willy Wonka experience.
What? What? No.
Attendees left fuming after bizarre Swift concert.
Okay.
Tickets for bizarre concert where performers read lyrics from the ground cost up to $150, with many attendees leaving early. So the gist here is, right, Clementine Ford couldn't get tickets for Taylor Swift, right? And she's gone, you know what? Fuck it. We'll put on our own Taylor Swift concert.
Oh.
No. No way. No, this can't be just because she didn't get tickets.
And here's the thing. Clementine is one of the performers.
What?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, so anyway, like this guy says, it would be cool if we could find footage of
From
it.
the names on the poster, it looks like a drag show. Oh, fuck.
Now, I autistically searched the internet, and there was a bunch of Instagram accounts referenced in this article.
Okay.
And I searched them all. But all the footage has been scrubbed. So I think
Of
what's happened is
course.
people have posted footage of this thing going, yeah. It's like mostly the performers and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then when this article's come out, they've gone, oh, fuck. There's going to be backlash to this. We better delete the evidence.
Oh, well, part of me is glad. Part of me is very glad that we won't be hearing any footage of this, but fuck.
In like Clementine or Sue or something.
No, as in like the internet's going to react. The internet's going to give a shit. Let's delete the evidence before we like get crucified.
Oh, that's stupid. I would have just left it up.
So anyway, this article says, attendees of a Taylor Swift tribute night are demanding refunds after a bizarre concert where performers appeared to read lyrics from the floor, had some guests questioning whether the event was Australia's very own Willy Wonka experience. Do you
Oh yeah, the Willy Wonka experience with the fake AI thing with the, I remember this. I think I heard about this. Oh, really?
Do you remember the Willy Wonka experience thing?
No, just the movie.
No. There was an event in, I think, Scotland, last year, maybe earlier this year.
Okay.
Where these guys put on, like, the Willy Wonka experience, and they AI'd all these fucking posters, and it looked, like, wonderful. It looked like this magical Willy Wonka land.
Okay.
And everyone bought tickets to it, and they turned up, and it was like a factory with a couple of props and a couple of c***s in makeup.
A few chocolate bars.
Yeah, it was horrible. You never heard of that?
No.
Anyway, the tribute night was part of Manly's Night at the Barracks concert series, with tickets ranging from $80 to $150, and was organised by activist Clementine Ford.
Of course it was. Of course it was, because this is terrifying.
The night featured artists Alex the Astronaut, Charlie, Claire Bowditch, and Lucy Durack. The lineup was also supposed to include Emily Waramaramara, but the singer dropped out at the last minute. Since the concert on Sunday night, attendees have flooded the organisers' Facebook, Instagram and Google pages, as well as local community pages to express their disappointment with the event.
This was terrible! Why did you charge so much money for something so terrible?
Goers said some of the performers read lyrics from the ground and made the crowd sing the songs at one point as the lyrics were too hard. So here's some footage. Unfortunately, the only footage I could find.
Damn it.
What the fuck? This is horrible. They're like talking the lyrics over the song. This is horrifying.
So it's fucking karaoke.
It's like lesbian
Literally
karaoke. Butch lesbian karaoke.
Yeah, and I mean, the kids seem to be having fun, but they're kids. They didn't pay the $150. It's the parents standing back going, what the fuck is this?
Oh my god, imagine being a parent who had to take your kid to this, supervise your kid.
Of course the kids are screaming because they're recognizing the songs. Oh my god, I know that song! Oh my god! This sounds This is literally karaoke, and the kids are just happy because they recognize the songs. This is horrible.
Yeah, so it's basically karaoke with a bunch of
And
cat
kids are
ladies.
cars.
Yeah.
Yep.
And here's the stage with all their lyrics written on the ground. And the view from the back, they've got plastic picnic chairs.
Why is the ground red? Where the fuck did they hold this in the middle of the outback?
Well,
They
it's all
literally have the lyrics on the floor. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. They have the lyrics are literally on the ground.
Obviously some venue in Sydney. But anyway, like I was saying, the kids seem to have fun, but kids don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
No.
The poor parents paid $80 to $150 for this shite.
Jesus.
And imagine paying that money and going to this thing, right? It'd be so fucking annoying. I remember taking my kid to the Wiggles. You were meant to take our kid to the Wiggles,
Yeah,
but
I
you got the
sick.
fucking flu.
Yeah.
Poor Barry. I had to take our kid to the fucking Wiggles. God damn it. I feel for you, dude. I feel for you.
He sent me photos like halfway through of him just looking pissed off into the camera.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, bitch. Fuck you.
Oh, it was good to see her have a good time, but it's the Wiggles, man.
But didn't she start running around trying to steal other kids' balloons
She
and
did,
shit?
yeah. When I turned up to that, I saw Nick and his daughter there, and I've gone, oh, you've been suckered into Wiggles duty too. And he's gone, nah, I'm dropping him off, you fucking stooge. Then he's gone and had a beer and waited for him.
And didn't you get suckered into buying that like $30 Captain Feathersword doll?
Oh, yeah, Captain Feathersword doll was, I think it was $45 or something.
Did she sell merch? No, she couldn't sell merch. That'd be illegal.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah, there's no way she could sell Taylor Swift merch. She would get lambasted for that. But still.
books were for sale at the gig.
Anyway, the article goes on. Miss Ford performed a number of the songs herself and also gave speeches through the concert. Savannah Brown, 25, said she went with a group of her friends as she thought the event was for millennials. However, they were left stunned when they arrived to see a sea of young children.
Oh no,
So they thought it was they thought it was for like millennials, and 25-year-old isn't millennial, but okay. Carry on.
gave speeches throughout the concert.
Imagine the speeches too.
So basically they
Horrible
paid $100 to listen to some
speeches.
feminist dribble shite.
An advertisement for the concert recommended ages 13 plus and said the show would contain adult themes, humour and some swearing. It was so weird at the start. Clementine got up and said she basically organised it because she didn't get Taylor Swift tickets, Miss Brown said.
Oh, this is actually true. Oh my god. That is insane to me.
She'd sing a Taylor Swift song about heartbreak and then be like, don't let people hurt your kids. It was so bizarre. You're not Taylor Swift.
What the fuck? This seems like a strategic way for her to grab a younger audience into this feminist collective shit, doesn't it?
I don't know, man.
She needs to sell some books.
Miss Brown said the group performing chose to sing lesser-known songs from her early albums, which led to moments of silence from the crowd. Some of the kids weren't even alive when she wrote those songs. The organisation was also strange. I just don't really know what went wrong, she said. Clementine Ford organised it and you...
Yeah, dude, that's the thing. You had Clementine goddamn Ford organizing a Taylor Swift tribute concert because she didn't get tickets to the real thing.
Paid $150. On the bus home, my friend turned to me and said, is this our Willy Wonka experience? I mean, they would have been so let down. All these Swifties, I can't fucking stand Swifties, missed out on Taylor Swift tickets or whatever and went, yeah, this is the next best thing. Let's do the tribute show.
Who the fuck told them that?
Well, the poster, I guess. But I think they dodged a bullet. Have you ever seen a Taylor Swift show and what goes on at them?
It's full of screaming little girls.
Use my best stars, my own Play the table with the fancy.
What the fuck's with the screech singing? When I went to concerts, I never did that. That's just weird.
I've seen people we know goes to Taylor Swift shows and the footage that they posted on Instagram. It's like manic.
I remember that time when our friend, let's call him AD. Actually, here's a story. This is one of the few times I'll praise Tits, right? Tits bought Blink-182 and Rise Against tickets for me and her.
Why is it only one of the few times you praise me?
Because
Oh, ouch.
I handed out sparingly, bitch. Anyway, I'm bigging you up here.
Alright, big me up.
Tits bought Blink-182 and Rise Against tickets for us, and the date was getting closer, and our kid was being a little shit, so she wouldn't be babysat by anyone. It'd just be impossible. And actually, I didn't even know about the tickets, but you said, oh, I've got Blink-182 and Rise Against tickets. We can't go because of the kid. Why don't you call your old buddy from Melbourne and you two can go? And
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice of her. Holy shit, that's amazing.
It was awesome. We had a boys' weekend. It was really cool. What I was getting at though, our friend 80, that same weekend, remember I was telling you about how we were going to see Blink and Rise Against? And he's gone, yeah, I'm going to see Taylor Swift with the missus. Blink 182 are playing next door.
Oh.
The poor bloke. The poor bloke. Anyway, for $130, I'm expecting a polished performance, but it looks like they put it together in about 3 days. The main performer didn't know the words, and she looked very uncomfortable.
Yeah, if you have to sing and look down at the ground to read your lyrics, I'd look uncomfortable too.
It was basically karaoke. Even they're saying it was basically karaoke.
You know what this reminds me of? When you're a kid and you're forced to go to like your auntie's 60th birthday party or something at a venue, and they're all oldies and they're all...
Swifties and the younger Gen Z lack basic common
shit face, and they got the karaoke going, and they're all dressed up in their sparkle dresses, and and they're pissed as fuck, and they're just singing at the top of their lungs to karaoke.
They've been mixing white wine with Bacardi breezes.
Yeah, it's painful. That's what it reminds me of.
Miss Green left early and said she felt like they were monopolising Swift's success. There was just no effort. It was shocking. We left in disbelief, she said. Miss Green said Miss Ford also swore throughout the concert and eventually apologised for doing so at the end. It was terrible, she said.
So there's kids all over the place for the show, and Ford is just cursing it up.
I'm going to ask for a refund through Ticketmaster, she said. So this was through Ticketmaster. That's a big company.
Yeah.
Another concert goer, what is that? Alf O'Connell took to social media. My 7-year-old's core memory is Clementine Ford swearing while she was speaking to the crowd. Not ideal, she said. And from an entertainment perspective, the people singing were not worth that exchange for $130 a ticket. Super disappointing show.
That's crazy. $130 a ticket. That's for that. I would expect to pay that for a A-list band, like nosebleed seats. That's crazy.
Something happened in the background. The night at the barracks and Clementine Ford have been contacted for comment. So this is what I'm getting to. I think everyone's taken down the footage because all these news publications are like, hey, what's with this fucked show? Why did you rip people off? And does Tay-Tay know about this? So anyway, unfortunately, I couldn't find more footage, but it is what it is. I thought it was worth commenting on. Anyway, I want answers. I demand answers for this. I think Clementine Ford should explain herself because it's funny and I want to see her sweat. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thanks, John, for sending that to me. All right, we'll catch you later. Ta-ta. Bye-bye.
To me, that's just too funny. Too funny. That is... I can't believe she tried to pull that shit off. That's absolutely nuts to me. So, because let's see. Oh, Pinkalo just sent me something. Here we go. Here we go. Another huge scam event.
Our world.
Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look here. I wonder if this is more about the Taylor Swift thing. Okay, here we go. Back to the live scene here.
Our world still bears the scars that we suffered from the Willy Wonka experience. God rest the souls of all who lost their time and money at that event. Yeah. It is by far the silliest scam event, and it became a massive worldwide phenomenon with people talking about it. It was like Fyre Fest, except for Willy Wonka fans. It was just such a beautiful tragedy that really grabbed the whole world by the tits. Even the really victims of the scam couldn't help but recognize how fucking wacky it was.
It was so weird. Just like AI created posters and like just this All the energy that went into making the posters could have gone into making a good event.
And since then, there's been a couple of other big scam events that have come out, but not to the level we're about to see here. I'd argue this is almost to the same silliness level as the Willy Wonka experience. It just happened recently with a fraudulent Bridgerton ball. So Bridgerton is a massive show, I'm sure you've all heard of it, and there was an event organizer who was putting on a big Bridgerton event, charging 300 clams to attend.
God damn. So, $300 a head to attend this, like, prestigious, fancy event.
Promising to deliver a wet dream, an absolute fantasy of an event, but when you got there, it was a nightmare.
Who say they're now out hundreds of dollars and have no regal experience to show for it.
Standing in the rain, dressed to the nines.
Honestly, I just want my money back.
Superfans say they didn't get what they thought they were paying for at the Detroit Bridgerton Ball.
They paid $300 doubloons only to get stuck standing outside the venue in the rain in their most expensive, most elaborate outfits, just getting poured on.
I would be so pissed. If I spent that kind of money and I got all dressed up, and you know that they probably spent at least $300 getting like ready for that dance, on top of the money they spent paying for the ticket, and then you just get to stand out in the rain.
And if you did get inside, well, it wasn't exactly special. It was pretty barren and empty. It makes the surprise party my parents tried to throw for me in middle school look like the Met Gala. A Twitter user named Rachel gave us the scoop from the inside here about the Bridgerton Ball and what exactly it consisted of. So, $300 price tag, and basically it was a lot of people sitting around on their phones because there was nothing to do. There was no ball. There was no anything.
No dancing, no nothing, just people just sitting on their phones, bored out of their tree.
It was like the fucking void that Squidward goes to be all alone, except you're not alone, you're just surrounded by multiple hundreds of other people that also got scammed and paid to be there. There's also some hoopla before the event even took place because of a rescheduling that didn't make a lot of sense. So originally the event was supposed to happen in August, but then there was hoopla, they pushed it to September. And then there was even accusations that the reason that they had to push the date is because they weren't paying the previous venue, which is why they got, kicked out of using the venue or something to that effect. But regardless, the event did happen 3 days ago, or lack thereof an event, really.
Yeah,
Here's the
lack of an event happened 3 days ago.
Decor of the Bridgerton Ball event, stellar, absolutely jaw-dropping, breathtaking even. This is straight out of a wet dream. I mean, just look at how great it looks. So, as you can see, it wasn't exactly the best put together venue. That looks like something you'd see set up at the state fair for photos, not a $300 Bridgerton Ball event. And I think the Twitter user really hit the nail on the head. I have a game theory here. I think the organizers got all of this money from all of these attendees, and they were just extremely happy. Then as it came closer to the date, they realized, we can't just take their money. We're going to go to jail for that. That's illegal. We have to put on some kind of event. So they panicked and then went to Party City, grabbed this furniture, and just set it down haphazardly there.
Yeah, probably. That sounds pretty accurate. It's just, oh shit, we have to do something with this money.
It really feels like this whole event was put on like the actual day before. And even less, perhaps. Like maybe a few hours before people got there, they had like a couple of friends and family scrambling to get like some chairs and, hire someone to play the violin. Because one of the advertisements was like live music. Well, here's the live music. A single violin player. Like, probably playing the saddest song you've ever heard, too. Like, that must feel awful. You get hired for a gig.
Nobody knows the trouble I've seen.
And it turns out to be this. That's gotta feel like shit. So you just sit there forced to play for people that are miserable after having been scammed, after having been stood out in the rain for God knows how long, and you have to sit there as the only source of sound in the venue, aside from like tears from people who realized how much money they just wasted.
Tears and anger. Just tears and anger.
But don't worry, the event wasn't without entertainment. The organizers hired a stripper. For some reason. They hired one stripper for the Bridgerton Ball.
I don't remember this in Bridgerton.
Now, I'm not the most knowledgeable on Bridgerton, but that seems a little out of place. It feels like what happened is they just scrolled through Facebook Marketplace for anyone advertising any talent, like, you know, commission them. Hey, I play the violin. I'll come do like a party or something if you need. Book it. Hey, I'm an exotic dancer. Book it. You probably could have advertised anything, and if you were on the
I swallow swords. Book it.
marketplace at the time before this event happened, they probably would have grabbed your services. Like, hey, I'm a professional soup slurper. Oh, you're coming to the Bridgerton Ball. Hey, I juggle and spread my butt cheeks. To the Bridgerton Ball with you. Like, it looks like they just desperately, at the last minute, just hired some people to come in here just to, like, hang out to make it look like the event was happening.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they were trying to do the bare minimum where they could make a legal argument that they did fulfill their event obligation.
Yeah, we didn't lie. We didn't commit fraud. See, there was an event. We had music and a dancer and everything. There was an event.
But yeah, they promised a cash prize, which that didn't happen. They promised a diamond of the season thing, which didn't happen, and a lot of other like nonsense that didn't happen. And overall, most people want a refund, which is very reasonable. They got scammed. They 100% got schmeckeldorfed. They also got potentially food poisoned as well. Apparently they ran out of food after an hour, and some of the food they were serving was raw. So there's a good chance that not only did you get scammed, your gut got fucking slammed.
The way that it was described is that this was going to be a Bridgerton evening. We were going to have classical music, good dinner, and there was going to be a play, and they were going to pick Diamond of the Season. They were going to give away all of these prizes, and we went in, and it's completely empty in there.
Hey, come on now. It wasn't completely empty in there. Didn't you see the pole dancing and the violin player?
Yeah, come on. It was popping off in there. There was so much going on.
I bet they were probably just about
I am
to
a
bring out
professional
Monopoly
knife
as well.
thrower. Book
and
it.
had no problem just taking people's money.
The company behind the event, Uncle and Me LLC, has since disabled comments on their social media.
They haven't put out any official statement, the event organizer I'm referring to. They've just gone silent. So I'm guessing this is just another little game theory here. I'm guessing what's going to happen is the classic. They're going to shut down their socials. They're going to remake the company under a different name and pull another scam like this again in the future.
Yep.
That's my hypothesis. I just don't see a world where Uncle and Me can somehow put out a statement that allows them to continue to do business down the line.
No.
Like, this fundamentally stops their whole business, because who the fuck is going to pay money to go to another one of their events? Even if they said they were just giving away free donuts, I bet nobody shows up because they wouldn't trust it. Like,
they'd be like, free donuts, yeah, right. You're probably gonna make us pay for them after we eat them. You know what I mean? Like, nobody would believe that shit after what just happened. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Okay, I'm gonna do a quick bathroom break, and then we're going to jump into our QP for the day. So I will be right back. As soon as I find the mute button. There we go. Okay. Here we go. We're gonna get into our question period. because I want to get into this and watch how crazy it got. Where are we here? Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get this. I'm trying to get this. How long is this? Okay. Ugh, come on. Do I have to refresh this? There we go.
To whether or not I must give some thought to whether or not these gestures are better than speaking out of turn. Oral questions, questions oral.
Wow. Okay, so this starts. It is starting at 0 minutes of 57 minutes. Okay.
The Leader of the Opposition. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For 9 years, this bloc-backed Liberal government has managed to triple the cost of housing in Montreal. There's been the latest report by Point Two Homes. They say it takes 14 years for a young Montrealer to save up enough.
Oh. Just catching
to
up
buy
on
a
messages.
house
Oh, hey,
with
Jordan.
a small down payment. When will the government trigger an election so that Canadians can elect a government which will build housing, cut red tape, and allow home building? The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Hey, he's there.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. What the Conservative leader does not seem to understand is that slogans don't build homes. Slogans don't meet Canadians' needs.
Says the guy who always has a slogan. We've stepped up. We've had Canadians' backs. 8 out of 10 Canadians get money back in their pockets from the carbon tax.
What does help is hard work, real solutions. Working with municipalities instead of insulting the mayor of Montreal. Working with municipalities, with provinces, with not-for-profits. We need to work with all of these partners to build housing units and to meet these challenges. We're here to do some serious work. He's here to shout slogans. He doesn't have a single solution to offer us. And Canadians deserve better, Mr. Speaker.
He doesn't have a single solution to offer us, eh? Then why does everything he says have a plan behind it? Why is that a thing?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Solutions. I had solutions when I was Minister of Housing. When I was Minister, we built 200,000 units in Montreal when rent was a third of what it is today.
Yeah.
This bloc-backed Liberal government's inflationary spending has not helped. They've broken the immigration system. They have ballooned big bureaucracy which block building and construction. With
how many B's? How many B's can we say in one sentence?
With all of that, the Prime Minister has succeeded in tripling housing costs, rent costs in Montreal. Can he trigger an election so that Canadians can elect a government that will cut red tape and build homes and cut taxes too? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition does not want to cut taxes because, in fact, he voted against our bill to cut GST for purpose-built rentals
Because that's
for
not
lower priced units. We're here to build housing units.
Canadians.
If any
It's
housing was
builders.
built during his time as a housing minister, it was despite his efforts, or lack thereof, because he built a grand total of 6 affordable units when he was housing minister under Mr. Harper. We're here to deliver affordable housing, to deliver a good life for Canadians, and to build a better future for all. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Well, the taxes for capital gains were increased. That's block-backed.
No, it's not. It's not a tax, and it doesn't help the individual Canadian. It's just an incentive for builders.
If you consider removing the GST for home building, that was eaten up by municipalities increasing taxes with the support of this government.
Services, because the Prime Minister's carbon tax is forcing new and unjustifiable costs on New Brunswick schools and hospitals that Canadians cannot afford. Will the Prime Minister call a carbon tax election so we can save our schools and hospitals on this tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Leader of the Opposition started by talking about... Mr. Speaker.
The question was posed in English. Why are you answering in French?
The Leader of the Opposition started by talking about his opposition to new taxes on capital gains, because once again, the Conservatives are here to defend the ultra-wealthy and cut services for everyone else.
I'm sorry, what about your friend Mark Carney? How rich is he? How rich are you, by the way? I hate French Day.
Talked again about his opposition to our bringing in an increase on capital gains, because we know that asking the wealthy to do a little more so we can deliver more homes for young Canadians to build that future is what we need to do. But the Conservatives continue to be there with cuts for taxes for the wealthiest, cuts of services for everyone.
Yes, the Conservatives do continue to be there. You're right. You're correct, sir.
Else. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister is hiking taxes on home builders, on doctors, on job creators, and on farmers. And he's also raising taxes on hospitals and schools. The New Brunswick Premier is taking this Prime Minister to court because of the unconstitutional quadrupling carbon tax and the costs it will impose on snowplows, ambulances, heating hospitals and schools, meaning the loss of countless police officers, nurses, doctors, and teachers.
And EMS workers and all sorts.
Instead of defeating the carbon tax in court, why can't we have a carbon tax election so Canadians can axe the tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, for the past number of years, multiple Conservative premiers have gone after the price on pollution in courts, and they lost at the Supreme Court. The Canadians have decided that price on pollution is the right thing. We've won multiple elections on that because Canadians know that the only way to build a strong economy is to fight climate change at the same
time. You've won multiple elections because the Conservatives didn't have a strong leader until now.
Time. The Leader of the Opposition doesn't get that, doesn't accept that, doesn't understand that abandoning the fight against climate change would hurt Canadians, would hurt our institutions, would hurt people.
How is pumping money out of the Canadians' pocket doing anything to fight climate change?
People and economic growth right across the country.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, and he concealed from both the courts and from Canadians his plan to quadruple the carbon tax to 61 cents a litre. Now, Premier Scott Moe of Saskatchewan says that this will hit schools with $204 million in carbon taxes and hospitals with $175 million in carbon taxes, meaning we will lose doctors, teachers, and other necessary workers serving Canadians. Instead of forcing premiers to fight to axe the tax in court? Why can't we have a carbon tax election so Canadians can axe the tax?
Because then he would have to admit that this just wasn't working. And that this was never going to work.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader is proposing that we abandon all the fight against climate change.
No, he's not. He's talked about green tech. He's talked about green energy. He's talked about all of that shit. He's just saying that the carbon tax is not the way to fight climate change.
He wants to take away the Canada carbon rebate that puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians, the middle class and people working hard to join it, even as we both fight climate change, reduce emissions in this country, and create growth and opportunities in cleaner jobs and cleaner careers. These are the issues that Canadians are preoccupied with. How are they going to be able to afford jobs into the future when this leader wants to take away the fight against climate change?
But he doesn't. Why are we lying? Seriously.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. Mr. Speaker.
Climate change would be good for Canada, seeing as 95% of your land is under permafrost? Yeah, no, not quite that much.
Speaker, we have heard some shocking and unacceptable words in this House yesterday. The Minister of Labour and Seniors basically said that associations representing all Quebec retirees are either naive or accomplices of the Bloc Québécois, who are separatists, independentists, and working with the Conservatives to bring down the government. Even Jean Chrétien wouldn't have said that. Does the Prime Minister condone those remarks, or will he call his minister to order?
Oh, shit.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, our government has always been there for seniors. We invest, we support them. Unlike the Bloc Québécois, we're not here to engage in petty partisan games.
See, this is why I don't think we're going to see an agreement between the Bloc and the Liberals. Because we're hearing shit like this.
They make threats. They try to pick fights. The Liberals, though, we are here to work constructively with anyone in this House who's willing to do so in order to deliver for seniors, in order to invest in those who need support, and to create a better future for all in a united Canada.
This is insane. He's actually saying what he just said.
And to create a better future for all in a united Canada. The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. The House of Commons, at different times, voted in favour of a bill which would increase the purchasing power of seniors aged 65 to 74. The Labour Minister and of Seniors says that it's a separatist plot with the Conservatives to destroy the Liberals.
This translator is so bad. Oh my God.
That's nonsense. Enough nonsense. Will he call his minister to order? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, let's all remember that when our government chose to bring the retirement age back down to 65 from Mr. Harper's 67 years, the Bloc Québécois voted against it. They voted.
See, there's so much fighting between the Liberals and the Bloc. I don't see how they're ever going to come to an agreement this month.
Voted against seniors. When we decided to increase the GIS for the most vulnerable seniors, how did the Bloc Québécois vote? Against seniors. When we chose to invest in dental care, which has now helped over 800,000 Canadians, many of whom are Quebecers, how did the Bloc Québécois vote? Against seniors.
Honourable member from Burnaby South.
You Democrats believe in lower rents, not higher.
Jesus Christ, he still sounds horrible.
Conservatives were in power. They let big, greedy corporations buy up affordable homes and convert them into luxury cash cows. They allowed that to happen over 800,000 times. I will ban it. But the Prime Minister allowed it to happen over 370,000 times. Every single time that happens, that means a family gets evicted. That means rents go up. Why?
Hear, hear.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, over the past number of years, we have worked hand in hand with municipalities and provinces, nonprofit organizations, not only to build more affordable homes, but to ensure that homes that were built as affordable apartments or homes get to stay affordable long into the future.
Affordable? They get to stay affordable.
Sure, we've done that with funds put forward to purchase by nonprofit organizations deeper affordable homes, also to move forward on public lands that will be converted to affordable homes and kept affordable for decades and even a century to come. These are the kinds of things that we're going to continue to do and focus on in this House.
The Honourable Member for Burnaby South.
Conservative leaders, chief advisors, also the chief lobbyists for corporate landlords. But what's the Prime Minister's excuse? For decades, Liberals and Conservatives have failed to allow to ensure Indigenous communities have safe and affordable places to call home. Now, over 300,000 Indigenous people live in unsuitable housing. For the Prime Minister, it's delay, delay, delay. When will the Prime Minister realize that he is failing Indigenous people?
He's failing everybody. He's just failing everybody. It doesn't matter who they are, where they are in Canada, he is failing us all.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, we have tripled investments in Indigenous communities since 2015, including $32 billion in investments expected in 2024-25 alone. We're moving forward on investing in and with Indigenous communities to build more homes, to create more economic opportunities, to create the kinds of partnerships that I got to see just a couple of days ago in Inuvik, where the Inuvialuit are moving forward on ambitious plans for the future. This is reconciliation in action, not just pretty words, but actions that are actually delivering for Canadians. There's lots.
Thank you for your donation. And there are still over 100 boil water advisories in this country. And you're proud of only lifting 145 of them.
Lots more to do, but we're going to keep delivering for Indigenous.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The NDP Liberal government is not worth the cost of food. The food professor estimates that between 2022 and 2025, the cost of food will be up 34%. That's a time that coincides exactly with the NDP Liberal coalition. Coincidentally, the NDP leader's chief spokesman and brother, his company is a lobbyist for Metro. But the food professor blames the increase on carbon taxes. Carbon taxes on farmers and truckers who bring us our food. Before Canadians go hungry, why won't the Prime Minister allow a carbon tax election so Canadians can axe the tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, farmers across this country are feeling the impacts of the extreme weather events that come from climate change, whether it's droughts or wildfires or floods. We are seeing the costs of climate change every single day. And we put forward a price on pollution that not only brings down emissions and creates more solutions and economic growth, it also puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians right across the country. It's the parliamentary budget officer who says that. We're going to continue to fight climate change while the leader opposite wants to abandon the fight against climate change.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
The Prime Minister loves to blame the rest of the world for the rampant food price inflation here at home. But the food professor proves that narrative false. He has calculated that food prices have risen 36% faster in Canada than in the United States of America. What does Canada have that the Americans don't have? 2 words: carbon tax. So instead of forcing Canadians to line up at food banks, why won't he let them line up to vote in a carbon tax election?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't dare say anything after the last question because I sort of couldn't believe my ears. But here we have the Leader of the Opposition actually quoting some sort of expert, which is a brand new thing.
No, it's not. What are you talking about? He always quotes experts. He shows up with reports. He shows up with stats. He shows up with, oh my God. What is the matter with
For this
you?
House of Commons, to rely on facts and data is an excellent thing to hear. Now, perhaps the Leader of the Opposition will listen to the hundreds of economists and scientists who have pointed out that putting a price on pollution, particularly one that puts more money back in the pockets of the middle class and those working hard to join it, is the best way to both fight climate change and grow the economy. But the Leader opposite, he just wants to put...
There's the other slogan.
Colleagues, I ask all members, including the member from Peterborough, Haliburton Brock.
Oh, of course you're going to name the Conservative member. Of course.
To please only take the microphone, take the floor when he's recognized by the Speaker. The Right Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
And I've got some more expert information for the Prime Minister from the food professor Sylvain Charlebois, who finds that 13% of Americans live in food insecurity, while here in Canada it's 23%. In other words,
holy shit, 10% higher. 10% higher in Canada than in the US for food insecurity.
Canadians are twice as likely to live in food security after food price of inflation has been 1/3 higher under this Prime Minister's carbon tax regime. Again, instead of blaming others or forcing Canadians to go home.
Paid by the Liberals and completed the study in 2016. Yep. How do you know when Trudeau is lying? His mouth
Hungry.
is moving.
Why not a carbon tax election so that Canadians can axe the tax and afford their food?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, while the Leader of the Opposition is playing politics, we're focused on delivering solutions. We are delivering a national school food program that's going to help 400,000 kids have fuller bellies.
400,000 children. That's like, a third the population of Toronto.
Schools across the country and save Canadian families $800 a year on grocery bills. And
Yeah,
if
we
the
don't
Leader of the
want to not pay for groceries to put in our kids' stomachs. We want to be able to afford extra food so that we can have a full fridge and pantry so that our kids have choices for breakfast and more food for lunch.
Opposition actually cared about food security in this country, you might imagine he'd have voted for that. Instead, not only did he vote against it, he pretends it doesn't exist. He pretends it hasn't happened. He's gaslighting Canadians on the things we're doing to fight affordability challenges. Instead, he's just offering political games.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, it's a food program without food. It hasn't served a single ham sandwich, not a single bowl of Kraft dinner, not even a piece of broccoli has been forced upon an unwilling kid. Mr. Speaker, this is meant to feed bureaucracy, not feed kids. Meanwhile,
it's true. There's no food going into any school food program, and first of all, we don't want it to. But second of all, there's no food going into any school food program.
There's a 42% increase in the food bank use in Mississauga, and 2 million Canadians are lined up at food banks. 1/4 of children are going hungry after 9 years of his carbon taxes. Why can't we have a carbon tax election?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, if the Leader of the Opposition actually cared about vulnerable Canadians, he'd be...
We don't have any lunch program at my school.
I didn't think so. See? I didn't think there was a lunch program there.
Be offering solutions,
because
not just
there's no
more
there's,
politics. He stood against the price on pollution.
Colleagues,
children.
I'm going to ask the Right Honourable Prime Minister to start from the top.
Mr. Speaker, this campus conservative turned career politician doesn't actually care about Canadians. What he is actually doing is proposing to take...
Whoa! This campus conservative turned career politician. What, so he's educated and then spent his life trying to make things better? Is that a bad thing?
Money out of the pockets out of 8 of the 10 Canadians who do better with the Canada carbon rebate while we fight climate change. He stood against dental care that is delivering for over 800,000 people across this country, something he still says doesn't exist. He's standing against the school food policy that is helping 400,000 kids get better food across the country. He stood against childcare. He has stood against affordability measures.
I'm so angry I can't even talk.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, when you quadruple the tax on the farmers who grow the food and on the truckers who ship the food, you tax all who buy the food. The Canadian Trucking Alliance has calculated that the carbon tax will cost $20,000 for every long-haul truck this year alone.
Jesus
now he wants to
Christ.
quadruple the tax, which will grind those trucks to a halt, meaning empty shelves in grocery stores, no parts for factories, and no paychecks for our workers. Instead of doing that, why not call a carbon tax election so that Canadians can axe the tax and save our economy?
Good job. Way to ignore that stupid campus conservative bullshit.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I suspect that, like me, you have noticed that the Leader of the Opposition is particularly full of shameless slogans today.
That was close.
The reality is he has nothing to offer Canadians. He has nothing but political slogans and easy attacks.
Says the drama teacher who has experienced nothing but nepotism his entire life. Right? Jesus.
On politics, no actually moving forward on delivering on programs that are going to help Canadians, no stepping up to put more money in people's pockets. He's offering tax breaks for the wealthiest and cuts for services and programs to everyone else. That's not what Canadians need right now.
I'd like to remind the Right Honourable Prime Minister and all members of this House that this is not an avenue where we want to go down.
Yeah, Trudeau. Oh my God.
It can easily get out of control, and I would suggest that we don't go that close to the line.
No shit. He was so close to saying full of shit. So close. He was so close.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. Order. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, every time I mention the carbon tax election, he becomes so panicked and erratic that he loses control of himself and starts spitting out incomprehensible insults. When Canadians deserve us focusing on them. The fact that...
He's gone quiet again. I love this. I love when Trudeau gets all pissy and angry and then Poilievre gets all quiet.
After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, We have 2 million people lined up at food banks, a record-smashing number. After 9 years, 1 in 4 kids are going to school hungry. Before more kids go to school hungry, why can't we have a carbon tax election so that Canadians can axe the tax and afford their food?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Canada Carbon Rebate puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians right across the country.
The carbon tax rebate puts more money in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians.
Supports the middle class and people working hard to join it while we successfully fight against climate change, reduce emissions, and grow the economy. But the leader opposite still doesn't understand that you can't have an economic plan if you don't have an environmental plan. His plan is to abandon the fight against climate change, leave Canadians...
Order, I'll have a double bacon turkey burger with cheese, extra or no onion, pickle or tomato, and extra lettuce. Oh, look, a slogan. Yeah, I know,
to
right?
their own devices, lower taxes for the wealthiest, leave everyone else to fend for themselves. That's not what Canadians do.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly.
Oh, here's the Bloc leader again.
Not only is his minister being mocked in Quebec's media, but also it's being said that we voted against bringing retirement age down to 65 and voted against increasing the OAS. But it was always buried in bills with other interference and measures which were unacceptable for Quebec.
There you go. And I bet you that's why the Conservatives voted against them too, because they were buried in bills that had measures and things that were unacceptable for Canadians.
The Prime Minister and his minister are misleading people. Can the Prime Minister admit that there was never a specific vote just on increasing the GIS or just on the retirement?
So now they talk about bloated bills, right?
Yeah, this is the Bloc doing that. What's his name? Yves-François Blanchet.
Age. The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Well, the Bloc Québécois leader becomes incredibly defensive when we suggest that they're only here to pick fights, that they're only here to oppose measures which will be good for Quebecers and for Canadians. They do not want the government of Canada to work well for Quebecers.
Wow.
That's why the Bloc Québécois voted against dental care, which is now helping hundreds of thousands of Canadians everywhere in Canada and in Quebec. It is getting these people dental treatment that they could not have afforded previously. We're here to invest in Quebecers and Canadians. The Bloc Québécois is here to pick fights.
There is absolutely no way they're going to have a meeting of the minds here.
The Honourable Member for Belleuil-Chambly. The Prime Minister defends horror stories worthy of Halloween, even though this Halloween might be his last as Prime Minister. Up to 1 million Quebecers.
Well, why are you making this wait so long, you asshole? You don't have to do that, you know.
Up to 4 million Canadians are affected by the Bloc Québécois bill. The Prime Minister has not clearly replied to our question. The Prime Minister allowed his minister to insult the intelligence of organizations which represent seniors. Does the Prime Minister realize that he is causing financial vulnerability among 4 million Canadians, which includes 1 million Quebecers? The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, we have clearly shown that we are always there for seniors. We always invest in seniors and we invest in the most vulnerable. That's what we did when we increased the GIS by $1,000 for the most vulnerable seniors. This is what we're doing in helping older seniors have a bit more money in their pockets because they live longer and sometimes their savings run out.
What the this is so weird. The way that they're talking like this is just so strange.
All while costs are rising. We will always be here to listen and to think about how we can best support seniors. We will always support seniors, we'll always be there for seniors, but we will not be there for block squabbles.
Oh, shit. Wow. Yeah, there will be absolutely no meeting of the minds here.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Magazine asked this question this week. Why is Canada's economy falling behind America's? Goes on to note that national income per person was 80% of the US in Canada in the decade before the pandemic and is now just 70%, the worst gap in decades.
Jesus Christ. So our income, our household income is 70% of what an American's household income is. That is unacceptable.
So will the Prime Minister doesn't answer my questions, maybe he'll answer the economist's questions. Why is our economy falling so far behind the Americans? Is it because of his quadrupling carbon tax?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
On the contrary, Mr. Speaker, one of the reasons why foreign direct investment is up by 60% since 2015 is because, contrary to what the Harper government put forward, we're actually leading on the fight against climate change, on green energy, on a responsible building for a sustainable future that means countries around the world want to invest. In fact, last year, Mr. Speaker, we were the third largest recipient in the world of foreign direct investment after U.S. and Brazil, which makes us number one.
At all, what he's asking about why is Canada's economy behind the States, not about direct
one in the G20 for people investing in Canada. We're going to continue to invest.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Speaker, Canada's workers get 55 cents of investment for every dollar an American worker gets, and only 65 cents for every dollar an OECD average worker gets. For a net 450 billion Canadian investment dollars have poured out into the U.S., more than have come back under this Prime Minister's 9 years. And The Economist points out that our GDP per capita is now lower than Alabama. And
holy shit! The country of Canada's GDP per capita is lower than the state of Alabama's? That is... I don't think I can wrap my mind around that.
it says, and I quote, catching up to Alabama may soon seem like a distant dream. Wow. Why?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians are facing difficult times right now, which is why we made the choice to invest in things like dental care, like cutting child care fees in half for families right across the country, $10 a day in 6 jurisdictions across the country. Why we've chosen to step up on dental, why we're choosing to step up on pharmacare to deliver free insulin and prescription contraceptives to people who are having to make choices between their health and their rent or their food. These are the things we're choosing to make.
The fact that there are people who have to make those choices and that there are way more of those people than before is a problem, and your government is a direct cause of that problem.
Because we are putting the best balance sheet in the G7, the lowest deficit in the G7, in service of Canadians who need support.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Canada has the worst mortgage debt, the worst inflation, housing inflation, that is, and the most significant
GDP per capita in Canada is expected to reach $44,965 US by the end of 2024. Jesus. Alabama is set to be $61,846. That is fucking depressing and scary, and I don't even know what other adjectives I can use right now.
consumer debt of all G7 nations. Now, The Economist has asked the following question: why is Canada falling behind the American economy? The GDP per capita in Canada is only 70% of what it is in the States. So here is the question in The Economist: why are Canadians falling behind Americans?
That's a valid question. And why is it not just falling behind, but like lagging behind, drowning behind?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, the International Monetary Fund has projected that Canada will have stronger growth next year than the United States.
Sure,
we are at the top of the pack in the G7 when it comes to having...
Disgusting would be a good disgusting would be a good adjective. Yes. Yeah. Disgusting is a good adjective.
The smallest debt to GDP and deficit to GDP ratio. Our macroeconomic situation is very sound. Here's what we want to do for Canadians. We want to offer them services and programs which will help them, like dental care, like school food programs. We are here to invest. The Conservatives are here to cut. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition. The GDP, that is, the per capita growth in Canada, is lower today than it was 10 years ago. This is the worst GDP growth per capita of all Canadian prime ministers in decades.
Wow. All Canadian prime ministers in recent decades. That's saying something.
There's also been the most significant consumer debt of all G7 countries, and now our GDP per capita is lower than Alabama's, Mr. Speaker. How is it that while America is getting richer, Canadians and Canada are becoming poorer?
That's again a valid question. We should be on par with our neighbors.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister. Mr. Speaker, our population growth has been stronger than that of other G7 countries.
That wasn't the question. He's not asking about population growth. Oh my God.
That has also led to positive things. Our economy has grown. Our growth is speeding up. We're projected to grow our economy faster than the United States next year.
Sorry, importing your population does not count as a population growth.
We also have the best budget situation of all G7 countries. We are not opting for austerity and cuts like the Conservatives do. We prioritize the programs and services that Canadians need, because that's how we'll get through this. The Right Honourable Member for Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie.
Mr. Speaker, homelessness kills. It's not
homeless kills? Oops. So either Canada sucks or Alabama has our Alabama workers stopped fucking their sisters and got jobs. That's
a picture,
funny.
But it's a sad reality. People are dying in the streets. And that's why the federal housing advocate urged this Liberal government to take concrete action on the...
Okay, we're skipping this part.
Support. Over 2,600 veterans in Canada without a home. Legions and community organizations and...
We're at 30 minutes here. I think that's where... We're going to skip a little bit more ahead. I want to see if...
27% of the life...
After the Conservatives...
25th court are...
The Honourable Member from Scarborough Agincourt.
27% of the residents in my riding of Scarborough Agincourt are seniors. They remember when the previous government cut their pensions, increased the retirement age, and made life more difficult for them. Since 2015, our government has provided much-needed relief for seniors. Can the Prime Minister remind Canadians of the concrete vision we have taken to support seniors across the country?
Good question. Thank you, Billy. The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the member for Scarborough Agincourt for her question and her hard work. She is right. Seniors remember the Harper era.
Seniors remember the Harper era. And we like to rub it into everybody's face as much as we can, too. We like to make sure that you remember the Harper era as well. Because it was so long ago that, you know, we need to...
One of the very first things we did when we got elected was to restore retirement age to 65 after the Conservatives raised it to 67. And we monumentally boosted seniors' benefits, both GIS and OAS. And today, 800,000 Canadians, many of them seniors, have been able to see the dentist thanks to our dental care program. While the opposition leader would bring seniors back to the Harper era, we've chosen fairness for every generation.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Not only has the Prime Minister and his government taxed Canadians into poverty, his former Environment Minister called single moms and small businesses arsonists because they oppose the carbon tax.
Oh, yeah! I remember that. He did say that.
He ignored the warnings of his own Parks Department that the Jasper Valley had turned into a tinderbox. Warnings that go back to 2017, 7 years ago. Repeated warnings to clear the brush and do controlled burns.
That's interesting. So Parks Canada was actually saying, hey, we need to do some controlled fires here in Jasper Valley to get rid of this brush, and nothing was done. That's pretty damning.
Why didn't his government do the job and prevent or mitigate this disastrous fire?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, it is always astonishing to hear the Leader of the Opposition talk about the impacts of the extreme weather events related to climate change while he opposes any climate action.
He doesn't oppose any climate action. Dude, just because he opposes a carbon tax doesn't mean he opposes all climate action.
At all. He has no plan to fight climate change, which means no plan for affordability, which means no plan for the future of the Canadian economy. We have a price on pollution that is putting more money back in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians where it applies, and is bringing down emissions and creating growth and jobs.
How is money bringing down emissions? How is just straight up money bringing down emissions?
What Canadians need.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he pretends you can put out forest fires with taxes. Clearly that has not worked. Rather, what he should have done is listen to his own officials who said that the mass buildup of fuel in the Jasper Valley as a result of dead trees needed to be addressed through controlled burns and other clearing methods, and also preparation so that we would have the ability to fight the fire if and when it ever started. All of this is documented in email correspondence and now testimony at a parliamentary committee. Instead of taxing Canadians into poverty, why didn't he fight forest fires?
That's a very good question. Why did you ignore all the correspondence and warnings from your own parks officials and to not let this happen? Was it just to prove climate change exists?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, Jasper was one of the most fire-smart communities in the country. Over the past years, residents and leaders within Jasper have been exemplary in making sure they were doing everything they could to protect their community. This fire, Mr. Speaker, was a treetop fire. It jumped from treetop to treetop and through flaming pine cones, kilometers into ahead of it.
Do you know what you're talking about? Do you know at all what you're talking about? At the moment,
which is what set this burn. This is a result of climate change, Mr. Speaker. Climate change. He doesn't want to fight.
Oh my.
Mr. Speaker, climate change. He doesn't want to fight.
Jesus Christ, Trudeau. You're not in a movie set. Way to chew the scenery. Holy fuck. Just wow. Wow.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, that kind of erratic screaming and hollering is not going to tackle the problem of forest fires, screaming about flying pine cones, etc. It's true, the people of Jasper were fire smart. The problem is that the government in Ottawa was fire stupid.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. This is... Oh my God.
We're warned, this government was warned repeatedly over 7 years that they needed to clear the dead wood to prevent the spread of a future fire. Why, instead of bringing in a crippling carbon tax, didn't he clear away the wood and stop leaving a tinderbox to explode?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, one of the jewels of Canada's natural beauty burned because of climate change. And
oh, please. Oh, please. Polyev has just cited your own Parks Canada officials, and you're like, no, it was climate change. It wasn't the like fact that there was an accumulated buildup of dried brush and dead wood. It was climate change. I swear to God.
And his focus is trying to blame Ottawa for that. That, Mr. Speaker, is completely irresponsible and shameful. But we have all seen that from this Conservative leader, who would rather try and rile people up and point figures than actually...
Oh, wait, so it's his fault that you got riled up and yelled?
...truly try to solve any of the challenges Canadians are facing, either today with affordability or tomorrow with climate change. That's not leadership.
So it's his fault that you started yelling. That's what we're going with.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
I'll tell you it's not leadership. I'll tell you it's not leadership. That in February of this year, email correspondence within his government confirmed that they were canceling a controlled burn specifically for political optics. They did not want to do controlled burns. They did not want to do the same kind of forest management and maintenance that Indigenous people had done for thousands of years, and that had been recommended by both people on the ground and officials in the department. The reality is he didn't do his job. He should be accountable and explain why he let the valley go up in smoke and used a carbon tax to hide behind it all.
He's not. This is a very valid, very damning set of circumstances here.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, in this era of droughts and rising temperatures and climate change, there are certainly reasons that most reasonable people could imagine why the opting for a mechanical removal of underbrush instead of flaming them, instead of setting them on fire, might be a better option.
Forest fires are good for the environment, you moron. Controlled burns are good for the environment.
Mr. Speaker, the attack on experts, the attack on science, and the refusal to understand that if we do not act in fighting against climate change with everything we have, then there will be no economy of the future. There will be no Jasper to rebuild.
Oh, yes, because the planet will be completely on fire because, you know, we are so powerful. We are so powerful that we will completely overwhelm the Earth's resources to completely eradicate us and wipe itself clean and start again.
Will be no future for Canadians.
The honourable member for Bellay-Chambly. It's been our honour to always do. Speak to keep at going job. We're at risk to national and inflationary spending. Our side just to now will trend these on working hard to advance our economy. The honourable leader of the opposition.
Max Carney, at the moment of his appointment as the head of the economic task force of this government, said he wanted to do something and not be something. So what has he done?
The number of controlled burns that have happened around here over the summer would probably drive Trudeau insane. Oh, probably.
He's now sending out fundraising letters to raise cash for the Liberal Party. 2, he's asked for $10 billion of corporate welfare to help his multinational corporation take over the pension funds of Canadians. And he's got his pal a $2 billion loan. Did the Prime Minister, yes or no, clear all of these actions of Carbon Tax Carney with the Lobbying Commissioner?
Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, one of the things we're seeing right across the country are experts and people who've succeeded in all sorts of different backgrounds stepping up to push back.
Stepping up. There he goes again with that stepping up nonsense.
Against the cuts and little vision that the Conservative Party has been putting forward. The fact is, the Leader of the Opposition is offering cuts to services that Canadians are relying on and offering tax breaks to the wealthiest, like Conservatives always do. We're there to invest for every generation. No wonder Canadians from all backgrounds are stepping up to be part of pushing back against that Conservative leader.
If I took a shot every time he said stepping up, I think I would be completely incapable of continuing a stream. Like, I would be fucking comatose.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
You, Mr. Speaker, have said that this Prime Minister is violating the rules of the House by refusing to hand over SDTC documents on a corporate welfare scandal of $400 million that the Auditor General says involved 186 conflict of interest, where bureaucrats, top officials in this Liberal government, were giving millions of dollars to their own companies. Will the Prime Minister hand over the information to the police? And if not, what's he got to hide?
Good. Again with the questions that Trudeau can't not answer. That's impossible.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the Conservative leader just mentioned both the police and the Auditor General. Let me say what they have said. Both the RCMP and the Auditor...
If you did that, your liver would quit and climb out of your throat in protest to the abuse.
General have raised concerns about how this motion jeopardizes their independence in serving Canadians. The Conservative Party wants to play politics with Canadians' charter rights. We will not support that.
Charter rights? Why are we talking about charter rights now?
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
So his idea of a charter right is that you have the right as a top government executive to take $400 million of other people's money and give it to your own company and then hide the criminal evidence from the police.
Right?
Well, Mr. Speaker, Canadians have the charter right to know where their money went.
Right? Like, what section of the charter is that charter right under, Mr. Trudeau?
So will the Prime Minister accept your order and the vote of this House to turn over the documents to the police so that we can put the bad guys in jail and get back the money that was stolen?
No, because the Prime Minister is one of the bad guys.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, once again, the Conservative Party has demonstrated that it is willing to upend the independence of institutions like the RCMP and the Auditor General for political gain.
What?
That is what...
Upend the institutions like the RCMP and the... What? Aren't you supposed to be in cahoots with the Commissioner of the RCMP?
They are proposing to do. They want to direct investigations. They want control over judicial processes in their details. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, that's banana republic style behavior that the Conservative Party is pushing.
But banana republic style behavior. Is he high? Like, I don't mean, like, the fun kind of high. Is he, like, on something serious? Like, is he okay? Like, what the fuck is that? Banana Republic style.
We will always stand up for Canadians' charter rights and the independence of our institutions.
Pardon?
Did he just say, did that fucking twit just say Banana Republic in relation to the Conservatives?
Yes.
Is he literally just going, here's everything they've said about me, I'm going to say it about them?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, fuck him.
That's literally all he's doing.
You know, first past the post is a miserable fucking system.
Yeah.
The Honourable Member from Vaughan Woodbridge.
Mr. Speaker, I want to welcome to Parliament Hill everyone joining us to celebrate the vibrant Latin American and Hispanic community program.
Vaughan, our cultural win business.
Skipping the softball bullshit.
And I ask the Honourable Member from Lakeland to please not take the microphone, take the floor unless recognized by the Speaker. The Honourable Member from Port Moody, Coquitlam.
Nice to hear the Prime Minister taking credit for all the wins that the NDP brought to this house.
Starlight Investments, a corporate landlord, is targeting their tenants with unfair rent hikes. And the Conservatives and the Liberals partnered to help Starlight's CEO avoid coming to committee and explain why he's pricing Canadians out of their homes. It's no surprise because this CEO is a major donor to the Conservative Party. Why is the Prime Minister, like the Conservatives, protecting the companies who are fueling the housing crisis?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I'll take no lessons on progressive politics from a party that ran away when the pressures got hot from the Conservative Party of Canada. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, we were able to work constructively as progressive parliamentarians to deliver big things for Canadians over the past few years, but the NDP choosing to turn its back on pricing pollution and putting more money in people's pockets, perhaps turning their back on pharmacare, which we will be debating over the coming months, is a real shame. Yes, it's tough to be a progressive in this time, but we will continue
to be progressive in this time of everything progressive getting done, because if you don't do it, you're an istophobe.
to stand strong for progressive values in this House.
The Honourable Member from Spadina, Fort York.
Mr. Speaker, last year the Minister of International Development defended UNRWA as one of his, quote, trusted agencies, end quote. He didn't even wait for the UN's report on UNRWA's complicity in the October 7th massacre and reinstated funding. This trusted agency is now requesting immunity for staff who took part in the terrorist attack that killed over 1,200 people. UNRWA was also forced to confirm an employee killed in Lebanon was a Hamas leader. Mr. Speaker, does the Prime Minister share his minister's trust for an agency that employs terrorists?
That's a yes.
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Speaker, we are committed to ensuring full accountability, decisive action, and the implementation of necessary reforms to UNRWA. Right now, we need to respond to the horrific humanitarian crisis in Gaza, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're calling for a ceasefire in Gaza. We're calling for a ceasefire in between Hezbollah and Lebanon, between Hezbollah and Israel. We know.
Whoopsie! Freudian slip there. Whoopsie!
That we condemn Iran for its horrific attack. Israel has the right to respond, but we certainly hope there is not further escalation of this conflict as it spreads further and further and harms more civilians.
I wish to draw the attention of members to the presence in the gallery of the Honourable Kent Smith.
And that brings us to the end of QP, and I was right. It was spicy. My God. Wow. That was crazy. That was an absolutely insane question period today. I'm kind of glad I watched most of that, except for skipping some of the French stuff. But I'm very glad that I'm glad that I watched most of it. That was quite the QP, I think. Jesus Christ, the amount of yelling that Trudeau did and lying that Trudeau did was just fucking insane. And the facts that Polyev was dropping, because he always brings like actual reports and facts, and Trudeau just does not like that. It makes him very upset. And you could tell, you could absolutely tell just how angry Trudeau got today. And there's no love lost between the Bloc Québécois and the NDP and the Liberal Party. I do not see any agreements happening this month. It will take some sort of insane amount of backdoor dealing to get a deal going between those two parties with the way that they're fighting right now in Parliament. I think we're going to see an election in early spring of 2025. It's going to be like March or April, something like that. So I am going to go tuck my kids in, and then I will be back for a Mortal Kombat stream because the Sento Showdown Season 4 is upon us, and I want to get a actual good shot at placing to this year. So I'm going to be back and trying to pick which character I want to bring into the tournament. So I'll be back probably around 9:30 or 10 o'clock with some Mortal Kombat. Thank you for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed the insanity. And I will see you guys later on. Have a wonderful